What it do, what the business is. Word on the street, Chris known to handle it. Welcome to More Insight. This is insight you can trust because there is more where it came from. I am your host. I am Chris Moore. And we're going to talk about these Colorado Buffaloes real quick. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you drop a comment, help us grow this channel. I want to say shouts out to everyone that's followed and subscribe. Thank you for your support. It truly means a lot. I appreciate you, and I'm going to keep doing my best and keep bringing you all this content. One thing that the media is not talking about is Colorado Buffaloes and them opening up their doors to Prairie View and why this is so big, and this is major because the media isn't going to tell you this story the way it deserves to be told. And that's okay, because that's why we are here as content creators. That's why we are here as Black media cohorts, if you will. We're here to tell you the stories that actually matter, not the stories that the media is trying to spin and be negative about. Coach Prime, he opened up the doors of a Big 12 spring practice to the entire coaching staff of Prairie View. It's an HBCU, if you didn't know. And he let them sit down, let them shadow the team, let them learn. And essentially what they're going to be learning from the CU program, they're going to take back to Prairie View and build on that. So no, I know this isn't a topic that would be on ESPN. I know this isn't a topic that's going to be on any of the mainstream media outlets, but this is something that needs to be covered. This is something that deserves to be highlighted. But nobody's going to throw a ticker across the bottom of the screen. But that's why we are here. That's why you have so many other content creators in this space who are doing an awesome job. I don't even want to start naming names because I know I'm going to forget somebody. But if you know, you know. But let me put this into some type of perspective for you. And I'm going to really need y'all to follow me. I work in corporate America. And sometimes they'll spend an enormous amount of money. They'll fly in executives to a leadership, probably somewhere in Scottsdale, Arizona, have all kind of slides, keynote speakers, continental breakfast for sure, the whole shebang, the whole thing. And everybody comes back with a lanyard and a notebook, and nothing changes. That's what most professional development looks like. But Coach Tremaine Jackson, he didn't do that. Some way or another, Coach Prime, Coach Jackson, they reached out to each other. They connected, and essentially the conversation led to action. And the action was Coach Jackson was bringing his staff up to Boulder. Can we watch? Let's get on the plane. Let's get the entire staff here. Let's go to Boulder. Let's sit down. Let's break bread together, and even watch y'all practice. So it's not a conference. This ain't there's no keynote speaker is going to be here. There's no continental breakfast. Well, I'm sure there is some good food because I see the good food all the time on Well Off, Reach the People, and the Pregame Network show. So I know the food there is good, but I know the purpose of them coming up is just about football at the highest level and in real time. That is what you call professional development. Coach Jackson even spoke to that when he did an interview after his experience in Boulder. He actually said that more HBCUs should be able to do this. And not just reach out to Colorado, but, reach out to different schools, maybe in their same state, and say, hey, let us come shadow you. Let us see what you all are doing on your level, because that's the level that we're trying to reach. And I think that's an amazing idea. It's such a phenomenal idea, and one of an idea that we need. Because how many of us even think about yourself when you go back to when you were younger, you didn't have an example. And to that point, I want to say that we only dream at the size of our exposure, because what we're exposed to are the only things that we know that we think are reachable. And if we're being honest, just as a film needs light to develop, your life needs exposure to experiences in order to grow. Don't be afraid to step out of the shade, because the thing is, you cannot develop in the dark. The level of your exposure determines the quality of your development. And the development that Coach Jackson and the PVU men's football team is doing is one to be marveled at. Now, let's talk about one thing that Coach Prime did that I don't want to get glossed over. The man is running a Big 12 program. Spring practice is precious. Spring practice is a time where you're really starting out. This is the beginning. This is the genesis of your football season. So these reps matter. The install matters. Not to mention he has 2 new coordinators. He has a bunch of new players on the team. He has a lot of new position coaches. But he says that doesn't matter because I still need to take the time to develop someone else who's looking up at us. Why would I take that opportunity away from them? Coach Prime even said that this is family. He even referenced the Bibles and mentions how the Bible talks about, oh, how good it is for brothers to dwell together. And he said in a press conference, it's amazing how they use brothers. If you know, you know. And he also said HBCUs has poured so much into this game and into him personally. Whenever we can open up the door, share knowledge, and build relationship, that is something I am always going to do. And this is not a PR stunt. This is principle. This is just who Coach Prime is. He always looks out for other people. And that's a man who knows where he comes from. You can say what you want about what happened with Jackson State and, the way he left, elevation or termination. Which one you going to choose? But that is a man who knows where he comes from. He remembers that Jackson State wasn't just a coaching stop for him, but it was a statement. And he's still making that statement from Boulder, Colorado, inside a Power 5 school. So shouts out to Coach Prime. Genuinely, he's always been a real one. But I also want y'all to give y'all flowers to Coach Tremaine Jackson, because it takes a different kind of leader to say, my staff needs to see more. My people, there's more for my people to see. How can we get our program to this level of program? A lot of coaches have ego that's wrapped up in their program. Well, we'll do it our way. This is our system. This is how we run things. We don't need to learn and grow from nobody. But that's the posture that keeps so many programs stuck. That's the frame of mind that gets so many coaches fired. Coach Jackson said something that should be framed on every athletic director's door. He said, people do not grow because they do not go anywhere. And that's true for so many people. People do not grow because they don't go anywhere. That's a quote for life. It's a business quote. Put it on a t-shirt if you want to. And then he doubled down by saying that Prairie View doesn't want to just be the best HBCU program. They want to be an elite FCS program. Full stop. What Lil Wayne say, ain't no ceilings. Not for an HBCU qualifier. He's trying to be elite. And that's a mindset of a champion. So shouts out to Coach Jackson. He definitely understands it. He gets it. Now let's shift gears just a little bit. This story started to develop on last Tuesday. At the recording of this, you're looking at this is Sunday when I recorded this. Outside of in-house of Colorado, that's including Well Off, Reach the People, the Pregame Network, outside of Prairie View, outside of Colorado. Has anybody been talking about this? Where was this segment? Where was this feature? Where's the 30-30 for this? Where was this is what is right with college football? Not talking about NIL, not talking about this player is playing for this amount of money. Where's this conversation? Two coaches coming together. We talk all day about the lack of black head coaches in football. We have those conversations. We do those panels. We retweet the stats. And then now we have two black head coaches that create a genuine pipeline moment, an act of community, a real example of what it looks like when we lift each other up. The cameras go somewhere else. They got something else to film. We got to talk about this negative thing over here. Matter of fact, let's bring it to Coach Prime. Oh, he has two new coordinators. There's so many staff changes. So-and-so is unhappy with this. So-and-so has left. Where was this conversation? Nobody tried to understand, hey, Coach, why did you bring in this team? It was Coach Prime making the announcement that this team has come in. Not, hey, we've noticed a new team around or a new staff around. It looks like they're all black. Hey, their shirts say Prairie View. Nobody said, hey, who is Prairie View and what are they doing here? But instead, stories like this, they live on cubuffs.com, Prairie View Panthers.com, on the Instagram pages, where most of y'all will never find it until we bring it to you. And that's why more insight exists, because It's always more to the story. Coach Jackson also said something that I think is an important takeaway from the whole story. He said that this should be the norm. It's a part of professional development, not a one-time event, not a feel-good headline, a standard practice across the profession. Imagine if every Power 5 program with a black head coach, or a white head coach for that matter, opened their spring practices to HBCU staffs once a year, maybe even twice a year, who knows? So take, for example, you get Tennessee State. You say, hey, we're going to go to Vanderbilt. Hey, we're going to go to Memphis. Hey, Morehouse. Morehouse is going to go up to UGA, Alabama State. They can go to UAB. Everyone can learn from someone. So HBCUs, there should not be an issue to where they can go to another school that's doing things at another level. And that's okay. That's how you get better. Imagine that knowledge transfer. Imagine how they can talk about schemes. Imagine how they can talk about the recruiting strategy that they both go through. The strength and conditioning program. The infrastructure of operations. Because football just doesn't end off when the players walk off the field. That's when it really just begins. The easier part is when they're playing. It's that Monday through, for college, it's that Sunday through Friday that they have to get through. Saturday is just going out and playing. This is not about charity. This isn't about a hand-me-down. This is how you build an ecosystem. That's how you create a pipeline of black coaches who can compete for Power 5 jobs because they've seen it. They've been exposed to different coaches now. So imagine the head coach of Prairie View, Tremaine Jackson. He's now connected with a Brendan Marion. He's now connected with a Chris Marv. So just imagine if you are the head coach of Alabama State, Eddie Robinson. Now, if they go over to UAB or they go to Alabama, now they're connected with some of those position coaches. Because one thing we know about Alabama, if you're a position coach there, at least under the Nick Saban regime, more than likely you're going to get a head coaching job at some point in time. So imagine that position coach that is now a head coach says, you know what, I remember connecting with the head coach at Alabama State. Let me bring him up. Let me make him my offensive coordinator. Let me make him my defensive coordinator. Now another school sees that and say, hey, you know what? I like your OC. I like your DC. Let me make them the head coach. That's how you build a pipeline. That's how you build an ecosystem. Coach Prime and Coach Jackson, they didn't just have a nice meeting. This is a blueprint for college football. Coach Prime opened the door. Coach Jackson walked through it with his entire staff. And in 1 week in Boulder, Colorado, they did more for black coaching excellence than most press releases will do all year. This is bigger than most diversity initiatives. This should have created more conversations than we're going to see. Coach Prime, Coach Jackson, salute to you. Salute to Prairie View A&M. Salute to the Colorado Buffs. And to the media, we got to do better. These are the stories that matter. These are the moments that move the culture forward. Stop sleeping on them. This has been More Insight. This is Insight You Can Trust because there is more where it came from. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Help us grow this channel. Y'all love the Colorado Buffs. I'm going to give y'all some more Colorado Buffs information. We're going to keep the content going. All right? Follow.